Tom Selleck finally comes clean about James Garner at the age of 80. Born Thomas William Selleck in Detroit, Michigan, on January 29, 1945, Tom Selleck was from a working-class family that would later relocate to Sherman Oaks, California. Growing up in Southern California in the years following World War II, Selleck became passionate about sports, especially basketball, and at first believed that was where his life would go. On a basketball scholarship, he played for the USC Trojans and studied business administration at the University of Southern California. He had no intention of pursuing a career in acting at this time, but destiny had other ideas. He was urged to think about acting by a USC theater coach. Selleck discovered that he was lured to the stage and camera after completing some coursework and making a few appearances in advertisements, such as the now famous Pepsi ads from the 1960s. He stood out due to his inherent charm, height, and rugged, good looks, which helped to launch what would quickly turn into a renowned career in movies and television. Selleck experienced hardship and tenacity during his formative years as an actor. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, he appeared as a guest on a number of television programs, including The Dating Game and The Rockford Files. Despite being somewhat limited, these chances gave him the chance to develop his skills, get experience, and make important contacts in Hollywood. His association with James Garner, who served as a mentor and supporter, was one of the most significant events in his early career. Selleck was also being considered for a number of significant movie roles at the same time, but many of those early chances fell through. His audition for the part of Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark stands out as one of the most noteworthy. Near misses. Despite being chosen by Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, he was unable to play what could have been another famous role due to schedule difficulties with his popular television series. When Tom Selleck got the role of private detective Thomas Magnum in the popular CBS series, Magnum P.I. in 1980, complete with his signature Hawaiian shirts, Ferrari sports car, and instantly identifiable mustache, it marked a turning point in his career and the role that made him a household figure. In the 1980s, Selleck was the pinnacle of tough and cool masculinity. The program received a Golden Globe and an Emmy for its 8 successful seasons. Beyond its financial success, Selleck was able to develop one of the decade's most iconic television personalities with Magnum P.I., endearing yet stern, humorous yet incredibly human. Fans appreciated Selleck's ability to infuse the part with warmth, comedy, and genuineness in addition to the show's action and intrigue. Even decades later, Thomas Magnum is frequently remembered when people think about television detectives because of how iconic his portrayal was. Selleck wasn't just a television personality, he also made the switch to film, appearing in a variety of productions in the 1980s and 1990s. One of his best-known films was 3 Men and a Baby, 1987, a comedy that demonstrated his flexibility outside of action roles and became a huge box office triumph. Additionally, he starred in westerns like Quigley Down Under 1990, which showcased his passion for the genre and showed how well his tough on-screen persona complemented Hollywood's cowboy heritage. His career gained depth from these parts, which demonstrated his ability to play both serious tragic roles and humorous ones. Selleck kept up his relevance in Hollywood in later years by redefining himself and assuming parts that befitted his gravity and maturity. He has played Frank Reagan in the enduring CBS police drama Blue Blood Dude since 2010. Both critics and fans have praised Selleck for his ability to bring dignity, authority, and emotional depth to the part of the patriarch of a family of New York law enforcement officials. His appearance on the program has turned into yet another pivotal point in his career, solidifying his place among the most enduring TV personalities ever. Tom Selleck was married to model Jaqueline Ray from 1971 to 1982. Ray was a stunning and striking woman whose work in the fashion industry put her in the public eye in the late 1960s and early 1970s. During the more than 10 years of their marriage, Selleck made one of the most significant life decisions. He made the decision to formally adopt Kevin Shepard, Jaqueline's small son from her previous relationship, who was born in 1966. Selleck's strong sense of duty and his need to establish a secure family life in spite of the demands of his burgeoning Hollywood career were evident in this adoption. Kevin would grow up surrounded by the distinct culture of Hollywood in the 1970s, when Selleck's career was starting to go from minor TV appearances to great acclaim. In addition to the impact of his mother and stepfather, later Kevin followed his own course in life and discovered that music was his calling. He started working as a professional drummer and eventually achieved success with the American rock group Tonic, which rose to prominence in the 1990s thanks to successes that solidified their position in the popular alternative music scene. Although Kevin's path was his own, it is obvious that Selleck's adoption and encouragement throughout his early years provided him with a platform on which to pursue his creative goals. Selleck's personal life ultimately led him across the Atlantic to meet the lady who would become his lifetime partner following his divorce with Jaqueline Ray. Tom Selleck wed British actress and dancer Jill Joan Mack, who was born in 1957, on August 7, 1987. Their encounter was fortuitous. Selleck saw a performance of the musical Cats, one of the most well-liked theatrical shows of its time, while in London on business. There, he caught sight of Jilly, who was on stage, and was instantly mesmerized by her presence and charisma. A casual meeting turned into a romantic relationship, and the two developed a close relationship in spite of Selleck's rising renown in America and Jill's well-established career in Britain. Due to Selleck's desire to shield his private life from the heavy scrutiny of the Hollywood spotlight, their wedding was held in a quite intimate setting, with sincere friendship and regard for one another. The union turned out to be long-lasting. On December 16, 1988. Tom and Jill welcomed Hannah Margaret Selleck, their only child, into the world. Hannah took a very different route than the majority of celebrity kids who are drawn to the entertainment sector. From a young age, she became passionate about horses and equestrian sports. Partly because of the vast areas and natural surroundings in which she grew up, Hannah developed into a well-known and accomplished competitive equestrian throughout the years, representing her family on the global scene with grace and poise. Selleck has frequently expressed delight in Hannah's accomplishments and praised her commitment to pursuing her love in a sector that requires both mental fortitude and physical stamina. The Selleck family decided to settle in Southern California, since it was a more tranquil and spacious area than the busy Hollywood areas. They live on a 60-acre avocado ranch in Westlake Village, California's Hidden Valley, close to Thousand Oaks. Once owned by the renowned entertainer Dean Martin, the property had a rich Hollywood past and gave the Sellecks a sense of seclusion and kinship with the earth. Selleck engaged himself in the daily duties of ranch life. In contrast to many performers who surround themselves with the luxuries of luxury, in addition to providing him with a place of refuge, the open fields, dirt roads, and avocado trees allowed him to interact physically with the environment. Selleck talked openly about the fulfillment he had from caring for the ranch in a 2012 interview with People magazine. He clarified that he found much greater fulfillment in hard physical labor on the land than in long hours at the gym. He emphasized that the natural labor kept him grounded and that he enjoyed working outside on the ranch, doing anything from clearing undergrowth to repairing roads. "I hate going to the gym, so sweating outside sure beats sitting on a stationary bike staring at my navel," he added with his trademark sense of humor. This quotation demonstrated Selleck's pragmatic and grounded demeanor, as well as how, in spite of his notoriety, he loved simplicity. His great work ethic and satisfaction in personally helping to maintain his home were demonstrated by his joke that he worked cheaper than anyone he could hire. The ranch is more than just a plot of land. To Selleck, it stands for a philosophy and a way of life. It gives him a respite from the frequently hectic world of Hollywood and allows him to be himself away from the cameras and scripts. His commitment to family, seclusion, and genuineness is embodied by his life on the ranch with Jill and Hannah. Values that have enabled him to sustain a lengthy career and a steady personal life in a field where stability is uncommon. Tom Selleck, who is 80 years old, has reached a point in his life where introspection is both expected and natural. He has finally decided to talk candidly about James Garner, one of the most significant figures in his life and work, after decades of keeping a respectful quiet. For years, Selleck had taken care to avoid going into great detail about Garner out of concern that his words might fall short of expressing how much he respected and appreciated him. But now that he has a long and successful career under his belt, he is prepared to tell the truth. His honesty about the man he regarded as a mentor, role model, friend, and more than simply a co-worker. Selleck remembers that he had a deep respect for Gardner long before they ever collaborated. Selleck, like millions of Americans, grew up watching Maverick in the 1950s, when Garner stood out from the rough, stoic cowboys of the time with his effortless charm. In contrast to many performers who appeared to be stuck in a single character, Garner had a talent for fusing charm and toughness, a dry sense of humor with true empathy. For Selleck, Garner stood for sincerity, which is uncommon in Hollywood. He wasn't an actor attempting to play a role that was too big for him. He was a man who exuded such genuineness that viewers immediately trusted him. When Selleck, who was already well known for playing Thomas Magnum on Magnum, was cast with Gardner in the Rockford Files, Friends and Foul Play, and went on to collaborate with him on additional projects in the 1980s. That early admiration became a life-altering chance. Prior to their first encounter, Selleck admits that he was anxious, fearing that the legendary television personality would be distant or contemptuous. Rather, Garner instantly disarmed him with humility, humor, and warmth. Jim had no fake bones in his body. Selleck has acknowledged that he showed the same respect to everyone, even the director and the man with the boom microphone. "I learned more about professionalism from that than from any acting course." Additionally, Selleck has disclosed that Garner's impact went well beyond business etiquette. Gardner served as Selleck's sounding board during long days on set, giving guidance on how to survive in a business that frequently devours its stars, as well as on the ins and outs of acting. He was cautioned by Garner about the dangers of celebrity, ego, entitlement, and the need to sacrifice one's morals in order to succeed, reminding Selleck that no role, no salary, and no notoriety boost were worth losing one's integrity. He urged Selleck to stay grounded. Selleck has frequently acknowledged that Garner helped him navigate Hollywood without compromising his identity. Because of these skills, at the age of 80, Selleck may now acknowledge the most profound reality. which is his personal gratitude to Garner for helping to mold him into the man he wanted to be. Selleck said that Garner's career demonstrated that being a family man and a celebrity could coexist. Both adored off-screen and admired on-screen, even at the height of his celebrity. Selleck was motivated to put his own family life first by Garner's lengthy marriage to his wife, Lois Clark. In many respects, Selleck's choice to leave Magnum in order to spend more time with his wife Jill and their daughter Hannah on their ranch in California was inspired by Garner's example of putting stability and love above the never-ending grind of Hollywood. Looking back, Selleck isn't afraid to acknowledge the personal significance of Garner's friendship to him. The two men had a connection based on humor, respect for one another, and a common knowledge of what it was like to bear the burden of a popular TV show. Having gone through his own health issues and professional setbacks, Garner frequently provided perspective when Selleck felt overburdened by the expectations of celebrity. He had a way of using a story or a chuckle to break through your anxieties. Selleck remembers that even when the pressure was too much to bear, Jim could give you the impression that everything will be okay. C. Litch now acknowledges that a portion of his history is inextricably linked to Garner's, as he considers his own. In addition to being a mentor, he saw Garner as a mirror who helped him define the kind of guy and actor he wished to be. Garner's warmth, humor, and generosity made an impression on Selleck that he still bears today. Selleck hopes that by speaking so candidly at last, people will realize how important Garner was to him. Selleck acknowledges, "I owe him more than I can ever repay." In actuality, James Garner established the bar for everything I've attempted to achieve. I can honestly tell that, even at 80, I'm still working to live up to it.